Okay, so for the next part, what we're going to do is we're going to work on the other core here. So for this one, this has to line up with this edge over here, so we're going to use a larger screw because it's going to connect both of those. So I put it in this one over here. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to start putting in the complementary areas of the center here that fit into these grooves. I just find it easier to do it that way. So the complementary one on this side here is this guy. So this will line up like this, basically. So I'm just going to put this in here so that it can do that. So it's going to line up here, so I'm going to slide it in through here and just plop it in. Just like that. So it comes in nicely. So it's going to be coming in like this. So to the side now is the complementary to that piece, which is of course this piece here. It's going to fit on like this. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in right here. And plop, fits in nicely. I'm going to do that with the other sides so that they can line up with the complementary areas here. Come into here. This next one right over here. So that finishes up these types. Okay, so now this is going to slide in like this little flying saucer-like formation. So I'm going to put this in here and now just start to screw this down. And it doesn't have to be all the way. You may want to get a little bit of slack so that you can put pieces in. So that's pretty good over here. We'll screw more in later. Okay. Alright, so now it's just a matter of putting in the same pieces, the complementary pieces here. I haven't tightened it all the way yet, but I will. I just want to make sure that these things will go in first. So this will come in over here. Okay, so let's see if we can't slip that in. Okay, took a little bit of doing. And now we'll put this one in. Okay, now we put that one in there. Okay, so these are in. Now we're going to put the complementary one in here. Now it might be best to not put this one in yet, just go ahead and put these ones in first because they're a little harder to slip in here. Yeah.
Is that hard to do?
Nope. I'm just making it look hard. Alright. Put this over here and slide this in here with such grace and agility that you'll never see. Okay, so now same thing on the other side here. We'll start putting in the corners, the corresponding corners here. Slopes up, so find one that slopes down and just kind of pop that in gently and as best you can. Okay, now we pop this one in here. The Star Wars sounds don't usually happen. Okay, and there it is. Now we just slide these in as best we can too. This is the part of the assembly where it does take a little bit of placement, because now things are being held in by a pretty good amount of tension. But the material is very strong, so it can generally handle a lot more stress than you might think. Okay, so here's our second layer, and everything is fine here. And now we can start tightening this in just a little bit more until we go for a final tension later. And as we're doing this, you can see the puzzle starting to take a little more of its shape. Alright, so it looks like it's held in pretty nicely. We can try the movement here. If it's a little loose, we can start tightening it up from the other end also. Okay, changed venue a little bit here. Now, what I also did, which you may want to consider doing, is I took this piece out here to reveal the screw. That way I can adjust the tension as I need it. It seems pretty good right now. Maybe a little tight over here, but while I'm putting it together, I just kind of want them to fit. I just want them to fit snug, so I can try some of these motions along these axes over here. A little loose on this side over here, but we'll see. Okay, next step. Anyway, so now we're going to fill up the next layer over here. So that's going to be, I guess we can start off with this piece. Now the rest of this is done fairly intuitively. Eventually we're going to be putting it in here, so we might want to line up what goes in here first. So I know that these two pieces coincide with each other, just like this. So what we could do is because we're kind of working on some of our last layers here, we could put this in like this. So this slides in here nice. This goes into here. Okay, so that didn't really take a whole lot of effort. So after putting these two in, I'm going to start putting in the corner pieces that go right over here. And that's going to be this piece over here, because this one has to dive deepest into the core, and it's also got to slip under this piece as well. So I'm going to coordinate it like this and put it in. Now you may want to loosen this cap here a little bit to pull it up. So to show that, this is going to slide into here. And it's got to slide under everything, just like that. All right, so that's under there. And I'm going to go ahead and put all the other pieces in. Just let it dive under the core. Same thing with this part. Just like this. It's a lot easier to do than to describe, I'll tell you right now. It is very intuitive how to put this in. Okay. The other key thing is when putting in those sides, notice that there's a cleft at the medial portion, the middle portion of those two facing each other. That's how you want it to look, because you're going to be sliding the other areas in right in between that. So again, feel free to loosen this cap and put more of a space there so that you can make this easier. But now we're going to be putting in these caps. The way this goes is that the short end is on the bottom, the large end is on the top, and they're slipped in between, right in between here. And I just kind of maneuver them in. Like turning, a little twisting. Bear in mind, these have a lot more give than you might suspect, so don't be shy. And it'll get in there. So, all right, next part the same thing. Short end on the bottom, tall end on the top, and just kind of tease this in as best you can, slipping it under, loosening it if you can, putting a little bit of gentle tension until it clicks in, and it does click in pretty easily as long as there isn't too much tension there. Okay, the way these are going to work here, these guys are going to come into here. As you can see, there's a cleft over here that's going to fit in nicely, and then these guys are going to come in right next to it. So it's going to actually look a little something like this. So that's going to fit in like that. So bear in mind, that's how things are going to come in on this side. And these are a little bit more superficial layers, so they should be able to slide in pretty well, just kind of underneath the clefts that were already made. So you can see that you can slide those in pretty easily. Same thing on the other side. See if I can't visualize this here. There we go. That dives into there. Okay, that looks pretty good. So we've got a whole side over here, and now we just do the same thing on this side. Two more pieces to place, and that would be these two here, like that. Okay. And now same thing here. It's pretty easy to see where this slides into, which is here, and just kind of bat things out of the way, like so. Okay. All right, so we've got it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the tension, screw it in, and then put my caps on when I'm satisfied with the tension. So we'll go ahead and screw the top part, just like this. And then you can kind of play around with the tension a little bit. I don't have my caps quite on yet. Once I put those in, I'd like them to stay in. Now this is without any lubrication. Doing okay here. Doing okay here. Doing really well here. Doing very well here. And doing well here. Okay, so it appears to be assembled. In terms of tension, it's going to take, with these products, this is without any lubrication whatsoever. Didn't really lubricate it. I was told that you really don't need to, and let's see if that's true. They might need some post-production lubrication, but you're going to expect to see some stiffness. So it moves pretty well about these axes over here. Not as much hang-ups as I thought there might be. Let's try some long axis turns. Very nice over here. Very smooth. Couple of hang-ups, but not too shabby. Let's try a middle turn. Very nice. Okay, turn to the middle over here. Excellent. And turn to the end over here. Fantastic. Okay, now this is, because it's a cuboid, does it shapeshift? Well, you've got 3 here, and you got 5 down here, so it really should. So we'll see if we can't do a shape-shifting turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops, wrong axis. It's got to be down here to here. So we'll just pick a random axis to turn. We'll turn it up here. Now, does it shapeshift? Yes. Takes a little bit of doing, but again, this is just initial. I'm going to break it in, and yes, it does shapeshift. So you can see that it's shapeshifting across this axis over here. Just going to keep, the more you turn it, the more you're going to be able to work it out. All right. So I'm just going to work with this a little bit more, maybe show what it is after working with it. Okay, before stickering, I just wanted to show you what can happen as you're loosening it up. So what I did is I just did a whole bunch of turns and just worked with it for about maybe a good 10 minutes. And as you can see, all those axes that I was a little worried about at first moves very, very, very smooth. Very smooth along here. Very smooth along here too. Again, this is without lubrication. Before lubricating this puzzle, should you get it, try just moving it around first before doing that, because you don't want to make it too loose. In terms of shape shifting, again, what I did is I pretty much went to all the different axes and just worked it through. Including all the different shape shifting axes. And as you can see, it turns really, really nicely, even through that. Still needs a little bit of working out, obviously, but we'll do some more shape shifting here. Let's say we turn this back like so. Do another axis down here, or another edge turn here. And again, it is a large puzzle, so you do have to make sure about your alignment, but once it's lined up, you can see that the shape shifting turns are fantastic. Really, really good. Across through here too. So it is a, by its truest definition, a fully functioning cuboid. Maybe some more shape shifting just for the fun of it. So it's completely unfettered and able to turn. A couple of lockups, or actually not even lockups, but just a couple of snags maybe, which considering the number of pieces, it's really not too surprising, but easy to make your way around. So it turns, it moves, it shape shifts, and once we sticker it, we'll be able to see, does it solve? I'm just going to keep doing some more shape shifting turns just to make sure that it's nice and loose. Again, this is completely without lubrication. Okay, and we'll continue. Hello, it's me, and good news. I just received the stickers from Oliver Nagy. Been waiting for this for a little while, but they actually came in a pretty good amount of time. I've been actually working with this. The turning is quite good, quite excellent. Nothing's been popping out on me. Shape-shifting, all that's been really good.
I do shape-shift it.
Why do I shape-shift it? Because it's fun and challenging. So, among the colors that we have, I guess I have a choice of black. Should I have had the white one, or white, which is the one, of course, that I'm going to use. I prefer the classic Rubik's Cube color, the classic Rubik's Cube color scheme. And that's going to be illustrated by this 4x4 Rubik's Revenge. Basically, where we have white opposite yellow, orange opposite red, and green opposite blue. And if you had to kind of define the order of things, you have going in a clockwise fashion, you've got red, white, and blue. Just think of it in terms of the American flag. Why do I always? I told you, because it's fun.
Okay.
All right. So what I'll do is we'll go ahead and start off with the white one on the top, and we'll just go ahead and color scheme it exactly that way. So if I were to do it like that, it would be red, white, and then blue at the side here. Then I'll just do the opposites over there. So we'll do the white one first. Now, I'm not too sure how well the stickers are going to stay on this particular material, this nylon material. So my suggestion is that you use super glue just on the bottom. That will be sure that the stickers will stay. So if I had to say start off with this, here's the white. Hopefully you can see that. I think the contrast will be pretty good. So we'll just take this off. I'm going to use the brush kind of super glue so that I can fine tune it a little bit. And take this off. I'm pretty basic with how I apply the stickers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little dab of super glue on it. Not a whole lot, but enough to where I know it's never going to come off. The whole key is you don't want super glue getting anywhere other than your stickers. Because if you get it on your material here, you can have trouble. I mean, if you get it in between the pieces here. And we put it on. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to continue to just follow suit with that, lining up the correct stickers with the correct places, and like I say, just applying super glue. It might not be necessary, but it's really not that big of a problem. Just kind of judiciously apply it around here, and again, just kind of being careful not to put it on the areas that make the turns, because you really don't want to prevent yourself from being able to do that. There you go. Okay, did a little bit out of order there. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to sticker this guy and come back with that later. Okay, so here we have a final product, stickered, dyed, assembled from beginning to end, and this is the final product here. So it turned out very well. I'm actually very happy with it. I worked out the turning a little bit more too. So the hardest ones to turn are, of course, these long axes over here. Takes a little bit of moving, but once you get it moving, it moves really well. So it moves pretty well here and here. Move it along here as well. Along here as well. So yeah, it's got a nice color. I was a little worried that the color would look more navy blue than black, but I think I got the black color pretty well. Little thing about the super glue, I don't know if it's really necessary to use it. For the red layer, I actually stopped because it was getting a little drop-like look. Plus, I was always worried that it was going to end up in one of these areas here. But it turns very well. No real rigidity in this layer over here too. And over here as well, just to go through some shape-shifting moves here as we turn the 3-layer into the 5-layer area. So turns, shape-shifts, scrambles in various and sundry ways. So very well put together, very well designed. So I'm very proud to show and present, after, I'd say, I don't know how many hours of work total in assembly, made by Pfennig and a Claus Wenicker, stickered by Oliver Nagy, or Nagy, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, for a finished product of a 3 by 5 by 6. So now that I've assembled it, I'll work with it a little bit more, work with the movement a little bit more, but I think it's fairly well broken in. Very stable design, pretty intuitive to put together. I hope that was helpful. Let me know if you like that kind of video, if you'd like to see more of that. I do have some other cuboids that I'm going to be assembling. I have always thought that Shapeways products didn't quite have enough guidance, so I thought maybe I'd give that kind of a service. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and scramble it, solve it, and come on back to you with some solve videos, tutorials. All right. Thanks for watching.